of us, if we sit with dignity. Do you sit with dignity or do you sit with a sense of resignation? How do you sit? Because the way you sit determines where your mind is. So we can begin by taking some very simple understanding that how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself? Forget about the world. The world can think you're a pauper, you're a beggar, you've got nothing. But it's how you see yourself that really matters. And how we've been trained to see ourselves is now presenting the problem. And that problem is that the mind, that little voice, so let me give you an understanding of what the mind is. So first we open the space to recognize collective consciousness. That's how I do it. And I do it with the traditional greeting from my tradition. And my tradition goes back to about 1400. Okay, so Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh, just opens the space. Okay, first we need to understand what is it that we call anxiety? What is it that we call anxiety? What is it? Is it something external or is it something internal? And you realize it's internal. It's something that takes place within myself. Okay, let's break it down a bit further. What is the experience of anxiety? And the experience of anxiety is some level of discomfort. That's really it, isn't it? Some level of discomfort. You don't like feeling the way you're feeling. You don't like feeling the way you're feeling. So there's a level of discomfort. So it's like a sting, a bee stings you. That sting, that hurt tells you to do something. So it's nothing bad. It's to realize that when we have an emotional feedback, whether it's anxiety, whether it's fear, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's guilt, whether it's shame, irrespective, it's a feedback. It's telling you something. Don't judge yourself that you're a bad person or a good person, but see what is it telling you. So, if you feel anxious, you have to first determine, why am I feeling anxious? Why do I feel fear? So let's imagine that we are relaxing and we hear a noise in the middle of the night and immediately we wake up. And heart is beating, our breathing is fast, our pupils dilate, we're reaching for something, the light, anything. We're looking for something. Why? Because we feel fear, right? Anxiety is just another name for feeling fear medically, so to speak. Okay? So everyone has it. Everyone needs to have it. Because if you didn't have anxiety, you'd do stupid things. So anxiety helps us to say, maybe there's not enough research in what's going on. Anxiety. So you make a decision. Well, I'll wait. Anxiety. Anxiety tells you, I've got an exam tomorrow or I've got an interview tomorrow and I'm getting concerned about it. I'm becoming anxious about it. And then you go and prepare a bit and you find the anxiety goes. So anxiety tries to tell you something. So first thing is we don't condemn emotions. We see them for what they are. And what they are feedback mechanisms dependent on where you are experiencing, whether it's external, something falls in the middle of the night, you wake up, or you begin to think, what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen in a year's time? Do I have to live like this? These are all future-orientated thinking. And if you go into the future with your mind, what am I going to do tomorrow? What's going to happen to me? Will I have a job? Will I ever get better? all you're doing is telling yourself a story. And then you believe that story. And that's what creates your anxiety. So you've trained a dog to bark at yourself, but it's your dog. So it's nothing external. It's nothing external. The whole mechanism works within ourselves. The whole mechanism is a feedback mechanism if we see it for what it is. It's a feedback mechanism. If we see, it's telling me to prepare for my exams, I prepare and it goes away, it's telling me what to do. But if I am creating a story or someone else's, or if I am exposed to everyone talking about the same story, and I start group thinking, believing that story. So let's take a story, right? There's an invisible enemy and it's going to get you. Invisible enemy and it's going to get you. And not it's going to get you, other people who've got it is going to give it to you. Just a story. But if we begin to work on this story, we'll all start freaking out sooner or later. Start thinking, oh man, I'm starting to feel a bit uneasy about this. I don't think I want to continue with this story. So we get pulled into a story. That story determines our emotional response. And that emotional response is one of two things. Either it's pleasant, in which case you want more of it, or it's unpleasant, which we term anxiety, anger, depression. Depression is slightly different. Sadness, all of those symptoms are just they're symptoms of something. That's not a cause. It's not a disease. It's not an illness. There's no test for it. No one can take your blood out and say, oh, by the way, I think your anxiety is extreme. It's how we self-diagnose and what value we give to what our thoughts are telling us. I can ask you 5 questions which will completely undo your worldview. 3 questions. You want to test your worldview, what you believe to be true, then let's test your worldview. So we have a worldview that this body is me. Fair enough. Everyone has the same worldview. This body is me. Can't get more real than that, can we? 3 questions. Is it logical that this body is yours? Is it logical? Yes, you'd say, yeah, it kind of fits there. Is it experiential that this body is yours? Do you experience it, that it's your body? Yeah? 2. 3. If you were to do the same thing tomorrow, would you again experience your body? Is it consecutive? Is it sequential? Is it consecutive? Is it consistent? Will it happen again? And you'd say, yeah, I'll be in the same body tomorrow as I was today. And we would expect that to be true, would we not? All right, let's unpack that. If it's your body, then when did it start? And you'll go to your mother's womb. There must have been an egg there. And that egg, through fertilization, just multiplied. Did you do that? So how much of this body is yours? Then we can say, well, the mind is mine. We can do anything. Then make yourself well. And you will find, doesn't quite seem to be the same thing as what we believe. So as we begin to deconstruct ourselves, we begin to recognize that the body is a self-sustaining system. The mind is a self-developing system, provided you feed it the right stuff. And that brings me to the next thing. Where do you get your wisdom from? Where you can say, oh, you know what, Nav? I go here, this is where I get my wisdom from. And if you were to ask any question to this wisdom, and that's the nature of wisdom, it can give you the answer to whatever you want to know. That's wisdom. Where do you go there? Is it Google? Facebook? YouTube? Times? Guardian? Mail? Where do you get your wisdom from? See what I'm saying? Wisdom, the roots have been cut. The mind has gone crazy. It's been left to do its own things. So this stuff needs now to be reintroduced. To understand ourselves, to understand we are not ill individuals. We are profound glimpses. And that's all you are, and I am, a little glimpse in time and space, happening by itself. You're breathing by yourself. The body evolves by itself. The day begins and ends by itself. You and me are all part of this happening. And once we begin to recognize that we are not these fragile little egos that we're trying to hold on to, that there is more to being a human being than anxiety, all of this stuff becomes so 19th century. Why? Because we go beyond the mind. And that's where humanity is now moving. That we need to evolve. The old system does not work. We need to evolve. And how do we evolve? Well, the mind is confined. So we have to move behind. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that there's an aspect in all of us that is always aware. It's always awake. So if you look at your life, you think you're awake now. I say you think you're awake now because you and I probably half awake, semi-awake, semi-hypnotized by our own thoughts, by our own worldviews, right? Semi-hypnotized by that, but a little bit awake, know what's going on. The next state of awareness that we have is when we are dreaming. So there is something that knows it's dreaming. Agreed? Yeah. There's something in you that knows it's dreaming. Then there is this other element in you that when you wake up and you've had no dreams and you say, wow, that was the best sleep I had. Well, how do you know? You realize, there's a part of me that's also aware I'm sleeping. This is the part of our consciousness that we go to when we go in this space voluntarily. We go into that sleep space, but awake. Yeah. So if anyone wants to know what this state of consciousness is, this is what mindfulness is. It takes you out of the mind or beyond the mind, let's call it that, into this state of awareness in which you become aware of the content of your mind. And the content of your mind also produces more content called emotions. So you separate from it. So that's the basis of how we approach meditation in order not to just go beyond these psychological distressing states, but recognizing they're not necessarily an illness. They're a feedback system. Let's use our innate wisdom. If we are part of this fabulous ocean of consciousness, they must be smart enough to sort me out. And this is where our body, our mind, our emotions begin to find some harmony and begin to then navigate through the happening that we call life. Enough? I think so. Yeah? Okay. So we'll do some meditation now. And in order to do our meditation, posture first, right? So your posture is feet flat on the ground if you want, or you can sit cross-legged. It's entirely up to you. There's a level of commitment to yourself where you're going to try and experience yourself. In other words, what's happening with you right this moment. Ideally, you want to close your eyes. And if you can't, or if you feel uncomfortable in closing your eyes, you can look towards the ground, but not focus on anything. But it helps to close your eyes. And bring your focus now as you breathe in to your body. So you become aware of your body. Now stretch your back a little bit so your your shoulders are not hunched, they're slightly pulled back. So your chest feels a bit open. Your spine is erect and upright, and it helps. It really does help. I know it may be uncomfortable to begin with. And shoulders are pulled back but not hunched. Your arms, hands, and fingers are comfortable. So either you can put them on your knees or you can hold them together, whatever's comfortable. And if you just imagine that someone is pulling you from the top of your head, so that just allows the neck, the head, and the spine to align somewhat. Okay, so next breath in, become aware of your posture and notice how you're sitting. Now begin to notice your body sensations. So the way you want to do this is imagine there's a hula hoop above your head. And as this hoop begins to come down, it scans your body for sensations. So you begin with the head, coming down to your forehead, eyes, jaw, cheeks. Notice your tongue. And then your neck. And then from your shoulders moving down, so you scan the front of your body. And from your neck, you scan the back of your body. So you're looking for sensations, remember that, until you get to your seat. Now, notice that where your body makes contact with whatever you're sitting on, there are sensations that are dominant in your body. In other words, you can focus on those sensations. The point at which your body makes contact with your seat. Moving to your hips. Becoming aware of your hips as best as you can. And as you breathe out, bring your focus down to your thighs. Remember, you're looking for sensations. And then from your knees, you move down to your ankles. And then finally coming to your feet. See if you can get to the soles of your feet. Can you feel the ground beneath them? Or the air against them? Come back to your chair again. And notice how well you are supported. So in other words, if you were to let go, you're not going to go anywhere. In fact, if we just take a moment to ground ourselves a bit. So the ground beneath you is the only ground that can hold you at this moment. The air that's in front of you is the only air that you can breathe in or out. Become aware of it. And if you feel warm or cold, that can only be experienced in the environment you're in. So just take a moment to notice that. The noises. And this moment that you're in, and this moment, and this moment, connects you to all the moments that ever have been. And this moment, and this moment, connects you to all the moments that ever will be. Now bring your focus to your thoughts. Notice the kind of thoughts you're having or have been having. Taking your focus now towards your chest. And as you hold your focus around your chest, begin to notice the movement of your chest. And see how you feel right now. This moment. Is this moment comfortable? Does this moment feel distressing, uncomfortable, unsettled? Notice how you feel. See if you can label it. Comfortable or uncomfortable? Dukh or sukh? Anxious or calm? It's the feeling, not the thoughts. On your next breath out, open your awareness to all the sounds around you. So you don't want to look for the sounds. You want to act like a receiver. Allow them to come towards you. You don't need to work them out, judge them, seek them out. Simply listen. 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 Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose. And your commitment to you, yourself, is simply to hold your focus beneath your nose and begin to notice the movement of your breath. Hold your focus just beneath your nose. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Notice that the breath has 4 parts to it. There's an in-breath that comes in, stops, there's a little gap, an out-breath that goes out, stops, little gap. See if you can notice that in your breath. allowing the breath to breathe by itself. Watching the in breath come in, stop, out breath go out, stop. And if you find that you have been distracted, you've started thinking, or a sound, notice the distraction, come back to your breath. Stay with your breath. Hold your focus. Now bring your focus to your out breath as best as you can and follow it all the way out. Try and see if you can notice when it ends. Precisely. Following your out breath all the way till the end. And you will notice that as you follow your breath all the way till the end, the body begins to relax a little bit more, allowing any tension, any stress to be removed with your breath. Stay with your breath. Following your out breath all the way till the end. Notice how long that little gap lasts before the in breath begins. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath, following your out breath all the way till the end. Notice how you're breathing now. How does your breath feel? Does it feel slow? Does it feel fast? Does the in breath move the same as the out breath? Do they move at the same pace? Does your breath feel long or does it feel short? Stay with your breath. Does your in breath feel the same length as your out breath? Bringing your focus now to the temperature of your breath. Does your breath feel warm or does it feel cool? Stay with your breath. Does your breath feel warm or does it feel cool? Almost becoming the breath itself. Does your breath have a sound? Does the in-breath sound the same as the out-breath? Listen. On your next breath out, once again, just opening your awareness and begin to listen to the sounds around you. Moving away from the breath and being aware of the sounds around you. The sound of the bell to move ourselves into the silence. Just follow the bell as far as you can. Following the sound of the bell once again. Gently bringing your focus just beneath your nose and just sitting with your breath. Allowing the breath to breathe by itself. Stay with your breath. Take a moment to notice your experience. Notice what the mind is doing, if anything. Notice how you're feeling. Do you feel peaceful, calm, tranquil? Do you feel fearful, angry, anxious? Notice how you feel within yourself. And then if you expand your awareness to include your body, notice how your body feels. Notice you're sitting on the same place that you started. Notice you can sense your thighs all the way to your feet. Notice how still the body feels. While everything else is moving, the stillness you experience. Your back is straight. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed. Eyes are still closed. Face is still relaxed. Mouth is still closed. Coming back to your breath. And now as the breath comes in, you sense your body. And as the breath goes out, you sense your body. Stay with your breath. Stay with your body. Once again, just taking a moment to notice your experience. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few slow, deep breaths in, bringing your focus back to yourself and gently opening your eyes. Bring some of that peace with you. Okay. Everyone back? Yeah? Sorry? Okay. Thank you very much.
Folks, I apologise for my phone.
Oh,
going
no.
off.
Oh, don't worry.
No, it tests